Real quick before we get into our Bears mailbag here, we got Bears hats on sale. Chatsports.com/Bears hats. Tons of different styles for you guys since we pushed these a couple of months ago. Wanted to remind you, we have Bears hats on sales. Flat bills, new styles. Got the old school logo, the C logo. Chatsports.com/Bears hats. Go check that out. These are up to 30% off. All right, let's get into our mailbag here. Harrison Graham on Chicago Bears Now just is first up. I want Tyler Huntley. How do you feel about that? He's trash. The quarterback out of Utah last year, I think he played for the Ravens late in that game when Lamar Jackson got hurt against the Bills. He's not very good. Like, good college player, not a very good pro, not interested. How about drafting Christian Darrisaw? This from Bears Football 101. Yeah, if you don't go quarterback, take a tackle. Darrisaw. Jenkins, Slater, any of those guys. You're not going to get Penei Sewell, but there's plenty of options. Samuel Cosmi as well. There's a lot of good tackles in this draft class. How about Andy Dalton? This one from Noah. If you didn't have Foles, like, the combo of, like, Dalton and draft a quarterback would be intriguing to me, but, like, Foles is just a worse Dalton. So I don't think Dalton's good enough to elevate your team that much at this point. I think him and Trubisky are like in the same tier. They're fringe quarterbacks. Peak Andy Dalton, I'd have interest in, but we haven't seen that in a few years. Tamber the Lamber, we should cut Miller and Wims and then maybe find some other receivers in the draft. I'm fine with that. I know Miller was an idiot in the playoff game. Probably keep him as my slot and then go from there, but if you want to cut him, I'm fine with that. I've seen enough from Wims. Doesn't make big plays, and he's too busy punching Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So, yeah, I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine if they cut them both and then drafted some receivers. I'll say this. If you wanted to go receiver in round one, these are probably your realistic options. I don't think you're getting Devontae Smith. I don't think you're getting Jamar Chase. Maybe Jalen Waddle if the injury slows him up a bit here in the pre-draft process, but I doubt it. Kadarius Toney, he's electric. I think he could be there out of Florida. Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota is an intriguing player. Terrace Marshall Jr. as well. Marshall's more of, and Bateman are more of that Allen Robinson type, so if you lost him, more of a bigger possession type of receiver. Toney's more of a better Darnell Mooney, if you will. He's electric in space, so keep those names in mind if you want to go receiver early on in the draft. I want to know who your dream pick is at number 20. Who is your dream draft pick at number 20? I'll give a couple of ideas. Any of the tackles, or if you don't get a quarterback in free agency or in a trade, I think Mac Jones. You're not going to get one of the top four guys, so I'm thinking quarterback or tackle. Any of the tackles, Mac Jones, that's my answer. Let me know what your answer is in the comments section. Donald Phillips, what is the date the Bears can actually go get a quarterback? I think you can, after the Super Bowl, I think you can verbally agree to trades, but they can't become official until the first day of the league year, which is, like March 6th or something like that. Verbally agreed, March 6th is the first day of the league year. March 15th, sorry about that. March 15th is the first day of the league year. I'm getting signals. They showed me a 1-5, and I thought that meant 6. March 15th, but you can agree to trades as soon as the Super Bowl is over. Torian, should they tank next season? They're not going to. They kept their head coach and GM. So whether or not they should, they're not going to. They missed the opportunity to tank this year. When they lost 6 in a row, they could have lost the rest of the games and had a top 10 pick, but obviously they fought for the playoffs and made it to their credit. They're not going to tank, so it's an irrelevant question because they're going to try to win. Oompa Loompa, trade for Derek Carr. I haven't talked about Carr a ton. When we first launched the channel last offseason, I talked about him a few shows. I think he played well enough where the Raiders are going to run it back with him here in 2021. If he became available, I'd have some interest. He's got a pretty team-friendly contract. I think he's soft, but he's better than Mitchell Trubisky. So some interest, not a ton. Don't think he's available either way. Kevin Puri, where was Riley Ridley? On the bench because he's not very good. Guys, I know we want to do this whole, like, Matt Nagy sucks, he doesn't know what he's doing thing. If Riley Ridley was a good player, he'd play more. He's a backup receiver. That's valuable. You got to fill out 5 or 6 guys on your roster, but there's a reason Javon Wims punched the dude, got suspended, didn't get cut, and started in the playoff game over Ridley because they thought he was better. It's as simple as that. If you want to sign Allen Robinson, we got a lot of wide receiver questions on today's mailbag. First of all, hashtag SignAR. Plus, just like the video. Help us out. If you want Allen Robinson back, hit that thumbs up icon. I want to see 400 plus likes on today's video. Help us out. hit that thumbs up icon if you want Allen Robinson. Kendall Johnston, if Jimmy Graham gets cut, thoughts on potential tight end targets? Hashtag Bears. Well, we should mention a couple things. Number one, I think he will get cut. Number two, I think Cole Kmet's your number one dog next year. Up and down as a rookie, as you would expect, but he got more involved as the season went on. I saw enough from him. I think you're okay with him as your starter. Go get a vet in free agency. Maybe you draft a guy on day 2 to be that number 2 type of guy. You're not going to get a Kyle Pitts or something like that, although that would be freaking awesome. But yeah, I think you probably need to bring in a guy, probably a blocking type as well, since you want to run the football with David Montgomery. Ishant Ariel? Should we draft Lance if he is available? If Lance is there at 20, take him. I wouldn't trade up for him. I think there's too much unknown there. And I think he's going to go top 10, top 12. So if he falls to 20, I'm comfortable with taking him, but I'm not trading up for Trey Lance, at least at this point. My opinion could change. Devonish Kumar, should we sign Corey Davis in free agency? If you want to make Mooney a slot, sign Davis as your number 2 outside guy or play Davis in the slot, I'm not opposed. It's just if you're serious about getting one of these veteran quarterbacks, your cap's going to be limited. You're already going to have to move some contracts around. So I'm open to it. I'm not going to rule it out, but it depends on money at the end of the day. Head over to chatsports.com/Bears hats to get one of these Bears lids and many other options as well. Chatsports.com/Bears hats. We got the new school logo. We got the Cursive B logo. We got all kinds of different styles just for you guys. These are up to 30% off when you go to chatsports.com/Bears hats. Got some new styles. Got this white the flat bill that just popped up on the page there with our partners Fanatics. Take advantage, 30% off. That link is in the comments and in the description. Speaking of which, what's the better logo? Because we have hats of all kinds of logos with the Bears. Type C for just the classic, the classic C there. Type B for the old school bear. I kind of like the old school bear there. I think it's a cooler logo in my opinion. Both are good looking, but I'm going to type my B. I'm curious where you guys weigh in on this one. C for classic, B for the old school bear. Let me know what you guys think down below. Anger management. How many smoking J's for a tag on A-Rob? Or smoking K's. 4 smoking K's. No, I'm just kidding. At least 2 smoking J's. They're not going to just let him go. They're either going to sign him or they're going to tag him and then decide what to do. I just can't imagine a scenario where they're like, just walk in free agency and we'll take our 3rd-round comp pick. That would be ridiculous if you were Ryan Pace, because you could probably trade him for a 1st-round pick if you tagged him at the very least. Cam IGL, is Matt Nagy's scheme trash, or is it just a lack of talent on offense? I still will say this. The lack of an elite quarterback is the number 1 problem. If a good quarterback comes in here and this offense is average at best, then I'll be sold that Matt Nagy's the problem. Until then, if he keeps rolling out Trubisky and Foles, you're going to be stuck with mediocrity at best. Is Matt Nagy cleansed of all of the problems? Absolutely not. That's why he went to Bill Lazor, and Lazor actually did some good things, and he might call plays next year. I don't think Matt Nagy all of a sudden, though, is just a bad offensive coach. I think he has good ideas. I think he can be a creative play caller. I just think he needs the right quarterback. Hopefully we'll get that this offseason. Bears Football 101. Brevin Jordan in the 2nd to pair with Kmet. I'd be okay with that. I don't want to go round 2, though, with the tight end, I don't think. I just think there's bigger needs. Round 3, I'm open to a tight end. You get a number 2 guy in there, especially a guy who can block. I'd be good with that because I think you're going to want to run the football with Montgomery again. We'll see. I just think I'll say this, if tackle and quarterback are handled, then you can start thinking about tight end. Ooh, I like this question. How about signing Chris Godwin? In this scenario, you lose Allen Robinson. Let's be clear. You can't pay for Robinson, Godwin, and get a quarterback. It just won't work. If you lose AR, Godwin's probably about as good as you're going to do, so I'd be fine with it. Again, I'm still team sign AR, but if they don't do that, Godwin or Kenny Golladay, those are your next best bets if you're the Chicago Bears.